All right, so get ready, because today we're going to dive into something completely different. We're going to be tackling leprechauns and all those St. Patrick's Day traditions, but with a twist.
Oh, a twist.
Yeah. Our source material for this deep dive is this really quirky little animated story called How to Catch a Leprechaun.
Okay.
Who knew that there would be so much to unpack in just a kid's story, right?
Well, it is really fascinating, how these simple tales often have these really deep-rooted human desires woven into them. The longing for luck, the pursuit of fortune, the allure of outsmarting some kind of mythical being.
Yeah.
It's all there.
Yeah, you hit the nail on the head. Right off the bat, this video throws us right into the world of leprechauns.
Okay.
Those mischievous little green-clad fellas.
Yeah.
With a huge love for gold. And apparently, according to this video, they can live to be 200 years old.
Wow.
That's a long time to be hiding pots of gold at the end of rainbows.
That is a long time. Yeah, that longevity is a common thread in a lot of folklore, isn't it? I think these creatures embody something that is timeless, almost unsettling. It's this idea that there are these forces at play in the world that we just can't fully grasp or control.
Right.
And leprechauns, with all their trickery and how elusive they are, they kind of become a symbol of that very idea.
Okay, so the video shows all these really elaborate traps that people design to try to catch these wily leprechauns. We're talking mouse traps, nets. There's even this one scene with unicorn launcher.
What?
I know. Talk about going all out for a pot of gold.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. He outsmarts every single one of these traps.
Every single one.
Every one.
Wow. What's interesting to me is that each of those traps kind of reflect a different approach to capturing luck. Some are brute force, some rely on cunning, and some are incredibly complex, as if luck could be engineered.
Yeah.
Or controlled through very careful planning. And yet the leprechaun just evades all of them. So could it be that true luck just can't be forced or manipulated?
I see what you mean. So it's the story is trying to tell us that luck, by its very nature, is unpredictable. We can try to create the right conditions, put ourselves out there, but ultimately, we can't control when or how it strikes.
Exactly. It's a really good reminder that we just don't always have all the answers. And sometimes the best we can do is just adapt and embrace the unexpected. There's a certain wisdom in that.
Yeah.
A humility in accepting that we're not always in the driver's seat.
Now, the video really hammers home this idea that a four-leaf clover is the only way to truly catch a leprechaun. Not just luck, but exceptional luck.
Oh, wow.
Why do you think they chose to emphasize that?
Well, I think it goes beyond simply needing luck. The four-leaf clover, with its rarity, and everyone associates it with good fortune, it kind of becomes a symbol of being prepared, of being ready when opportunity presents itself.
Right.
So it's not just about stumbling upon good luck, it's about recognizing it and seizing the moment.
So it's less about trying to manipulate luck and more about just being open to it. Being in the right mindset to receive it when it comes along. That's a pretty insightful message for a children's story, don't you think?
Absolutely. And it actually ties into something that we see a lot in folklore and mythology, this idea that true rewards come to those who are not only lucky, but also resourceful and quick-witted.
Okay, so the video also touches upon St. Patrick's Day and links it to leprechauns and all the festivities. But I have a feeling that there's more to that connection than meets the eye.
Yeah, there is. While the video gives a simplified explanation, the historical context of St. Patrick's Day is way more rich and nuanced.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
So should we delve into that next?
Yeah, let's do it.
This is where it gets really interesting, because what starts as a simple children's story is now turning into this deep dive into cultural history and how traditions evolve.
Buckle up.
Yeah. Okay, so we've got these mischievous leprechauns and pots of gold and just a whole lot of talk about luck. But how did this all get tied to St. Patrick's Day? It seems like there's a bigger story here.
You're absolutely right, there is. The video mentions St. Patrick's Day as a time for parades and, everyone dressing up like leprechauns. But the historical origins of the holiday are actually pretty different.
Okay, so fill us in. Who was this St. Patrick guy, and what was the original meaning of the holiday?
Well, St. Patrick was a 5th century Romano-British Christian missionary, and he is credited with bringing Christianity to Ireland. So St. Patrick's Day originally was a religious observance, a day for prayer and reflection to honor his life and his work.
That makes sense. But, today it's a lot more a lot more green beer and shenanigans, wouldn't you say?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
So how did we get from this solemn reflection to leprechauns and parades?
It is a really fascinating example of how cultural celebrations evolve over time. The shift kind of began as Irish immigrants in like the 18th and 19th centuries, particularly in America, started using St. Patrick's Day as a way to celebrate their heritage and connect with their roots.
Ah, so it became more of a cultural celebration, a way to express pride in their Irish identity.
Exactly. And as the celebrations became more public, parades kind of emerge as a way to showcase that pride and share it with like the wider community.
So I can see where the leprechauns might fit in. They're such a recognizable symbol of Irish folklore. But were they always a part of the St. Patrick's Day imagery, or was that a later addition?
That's a great question. While leprechauns have existed in Irish folklore for centuries, their strong association with St. Patrick's Day is a more recent development. It's really tied to the rise of those parades and like the need for those visual representations of Irish culture.
It makes sense. Parades are all about spectacle, and what's more eye-catching than, a mischievous little leprechaun with his pot of gold?
Precisely. And as the holiday became more commercialized, that image of the leprechaun became even more prevalent. Think about all the St. Patrick's Day merchandise you see. Leprechaun hats, t-shirts, even cereal boxes.
It's like they took a figure from folklore and turned him into this mascot for the holiday. Do you think that's kind of diluted the original meaning of St. Patrick's Day?
That is a complex question. There's definitely debate about the commercialization of holidays, but I think it's important to remember that cultures are constantly evolving, and the way that we celebrate reflects those changes.
So even though the way we celebrate St. Patrick's Day today is really different from its origins, it still carries those echoes of that original meaning.
Absolutely. It's become this blend of religious observance and cultural celebration and commercial spectacle. And within that mix, the leprechaun has carved out his own special place.
Speaking of leprechauns, our video didn't just showcase their connection to St. Patrick's Day. It also explored this whole concept of luck and how we as humans tried to make sense of it, even control it.
Yeah, and the traps in the video are like a perfect example of that. Each one in its own way represents a different approach to luck.
We've got brute force, trickery, elaborate planning. It's almost as if the story is asking, can you truly catch luck? Or is it something that's ultimately beyond our grasp?
It's a question that has fascinated philosophers and storytellers for centuries. This idea of fate versus free will, of how much control do we truly have over our lives. It's a universal theme.
And it seems like the leprechaun, with his elusiveness and that knack for outsmarting even the cleverest traps, kind of represents the unpredictable nature of luck itself.
Precisely. He embodies that element of chance, the idea that no matter how hard we try, there are just some things that we simply can't control.
And maybe that's the lesson here, that instead of trying to trap luck, we should just focus on being open to it. Ready to seize opportunities when they arise.
That's a really powerful message, and it's something that transcends cultures and time periods. Whether it's a leprechaun guarding a pot of gold or just a lucky penny on the sidewalk, it's a reminder to stay open to the possibilities that life presents.
This whole deep dive started with a seemingly simple children's story, and look where it's taken us. We've explored the evolution of holidays and the psychology of luck and the enduring power of folklore.
And we've only just scratched the surface. There are so many layers to these stories, so many connections waiting to be discovered.
Well, in that case, I can't wait to see where we go next. But for now, let's take a quick breather and come back ready to explore even more fascinating insights from the world of leprechauns and St. Patrick's Day lore. Okay, so we're back, and I'm still kind of like pondering this whole idea of luck and how the video connected it to the four-leaf clover as like the only way to actually catch a leprechaun. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, it's really a clever way to weave together those themes of luck and preparedness and the pursuit of fortune. I mean, the four-leaf clover, because it's so rare and prized, it becomes kind of a symbol of exceptional luck. Almost like having a secret advantage, Yeah,
it's like the story is saying that luck favors those who are not only open to it, but also equipped to really capitalize on it when it comes along.
Yeah.
It's not just enough to stumble upon good fortune. You need to be ready to seize the moment.
Exactly. Think about it this way. The leprechaun, he's small and mischievous, right? But he's also incredibly quick and cunning.
Yeah.
So he represents a challenge, like a test of wits and resourcefulness. To catch him, you need more than just luck. You need to be clever, observant, and ready to act really decisively.
That makes me think about all the different traps that we saw in the video. Some were all about brute force, just trying to overpower the leprechaun, while others were a lot more intricate, relying on trickery and strategy.
And yet he outsmarted all of them. It's almost like the story is trying to tell us that true luck can't be forced. or manipulated. It's about being prepared, but also adapting to those unexpected circumstances.
I'm starting to see a pattern here. Luck in this context isn't just about random chance. It's about being open to the possibilities, recognizing those opportunities and having the wisdom to make the most of them.
Exactly. It's a much more nuanced view of luck, one that acknowledges both chance and human agency. We can't control everything that happens to us, but we can influence our outcomes through our choices and actions.
And maybe that's what makes these kinds of stories so enduring. They offer us these insights into the human condition. They explore these themes that resonate with us across cultures and time periods.
Absolutely. Whether it's a leprechaun guarding a pot of gold or a genie granting wishes, these tales really tap into some of our deepest desires and fears, hopes and anxieties. They offer a lens through which we can examine our own beliefs about luck and fortune and our own pursuit of happiness.
This deep dive has been a wild ride. We started with a simple children's story and ended up exploring the evolution of holidays, the psychology of luck, and the power of folklore. It just goes to show that you never know where a deep dive will take you.
That's the beauty of exploration, isn't it? There's always something new to discover, always a deeper layer to uncover.
Well said. And on that note, I want to thank you for joining us on this adventure into the world of leprechauns and St. Patrick's Day lore. We hope you've gained some new insights, and maybe even a little bit of luck along the way. Until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep an eye out for those elusive pots of gold at the end of the rainbow. Farewell.